you everyone for joining us today. And so, yeah, so we go with a bit of deep dive into the Azure services. Majorly, we'll focus on custom vision and cognitive search. But in case you have any queries related to those or other services, feel free to reach out to us on our socials or on the chat. So let's start with our intros, small intro.
Sure.
Awesome. So I'm Arpita. I'm currently a software engineer at Myntra. I hope you all know Myntra. And I'm also the Microsoft MVP for Azure AI, majorly for cognitive search and customer and other services like those. Before this, I had interned at Microsoft when I was in college, and I have work experience in a startup as well. It's called Ruby, and I was also a Gold MLSA. So people who are familiar with the MLSA program, hi. And before Azure AI MVP, I was a Windows Insider MVP, but all in all, I like being an active part of the tech community.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'll also go ahead with a quick intro. So I am Rohit and I am working as a Microsoft consultant right now for a company that's based out of Sydney, Australia. And they are a Microsoft Gold partner. So that's it. Besides that, I am also a Microsoft MVP in Azure AI domain. Particularly, my area is in Azure OpenAI service. So everyone must be familiar with OpenAI. So that's a very interesting topic we'll discuss upon going ahead. Besides that, I am a Microsoft intern, have been an intern before, and besides that, I have been a Windows Insider MVP as well as I graduated from the MLSA program as a Gold Ambassador. So that is a short just about me as well. And yeah, I think we are good to go ahead then.
Yes.
So we will be covering a bit of Azure, followed by a bit of insight into what Azure AI is, and then we will walk you through multiple Azure AI services that touch in like multiple domains. And overall, our agenda here is to give you a brief overview into different services that are available for professionals. And no matter what your experience level is with Azure or with AI, there is a service that is for you. So, without wasting any further time, let's quickly jump to our content. So, over to you, Arpita.
Yes. So we are dealing here with Microsoft Azure. Now, what is Microsoft Azure? You would have heard that it's a cloud computing platform and all, but what is cloud computing? So, if I try to put it simply, then cloud computing can be referred to as delivery of the computing services that you have. Now, what are computing services? They could be your servers, your databases, your analytics, and all those intelligence over the internet delivered to you is cloud. Why is it done? It's done for faster innovation and so that you can get scalable and flexible resources. Now, Microsoft Azure, it's the cloud by Microsoft. And like I said, it offers you global data centers and management facilities and all. Additionally, it also supports a lot of programming languages. Let's say I'm a Java fanatic, but you hate Java because it has long syntaxes. Don't worry, it supports Python and other languages as well. So Microsoft Azure will also come with a lot of third-party framework support, which will be good for you, and we'll explore a bit of those moving further. And the best part is they have a lot of data centers worldwide. So your downtime rate actually reduces and enabling your services to work faster. Going ahead.
Yes, so our main focus here is for Azure AI today. So I hope you got a gist about what Azure is and what cloud computing is. So quickly moving ahead with Azure AI. So again, what is Azure AI? So it is a set of services provided by Microsoft under the Azure umbrella that help developers and organizations to create intelligent apps. So you can use a wide array of services. Some of these will be covered today, and we have like a whole array of services that you can think of, whether you take uh, instant actions like face detection, text to speech, or maybe to more complex scenarios like deploying a complete LLM or using any existing LLM. So we have a wide array of services that you can use, and Azure has a lot of LLMs hosted, which is a very interesting thing to explore for everyone here. But we will give you a walkthrough through each one of them, through most of these services. And in case you are interested to learn more about Azure or Azure AI, we have the portal link that you can walk through, which is portal.azure.com. The three services that we will be covering today mainly are first one is Azure Custom Vision, OpenAI service, and cognitive search. So besides this, there are a lot many services, but these are not our focus area today. We will be sure to cover it in another session very soon. So quickly, we will walk you through these three services. What are these and how they can be used? So Azure Custom Vision is a service that is targeted towards like ease of deployment. So let's say if you are not machine learning engineer. Maybe you don't know how to create models on your own. No worries. We have a complete web-based interface that is as easy as just uploading images, tagging them, and that's it. You have a complete model ready to use inside your apps. So this is a service that is targeted towards like newbies or maybe someone who does not has much of an experience with model development. If you're someone who is interested in LLMs, we have two specific services for you, which is Azure OpenAI service and Azure Cognitive Search. So cognitive search I'll cover first of all. So cognitive search has been renamed to Azure AI Search, but back behind the doors, it performs the task of semantic index. So if you are familiar with LLMs, you might have heard of a term which is called as context aware search or maybe vector search. So that's where the service works in. It allows you to upload your data, maybe upload your documents, your company data, and you can have it converted in form of a vector database that can be used to provide access to like real-time data to these LLMs. And your LLMs can end up performing much better because now they can offer you personalized answers to your questions. Besides that, you have Azure OpenAI service, which provides you access to all of these models by OpenAI. So you have a wide array of models that are available through OpenAI. You already know about it probably. We have GPT 3.5, we have GPT 4, we have GPT 4 Turbo, and most recently we have GPT 4o. All of these models are available on Azure OpenAI service. Besides that, you can explore other models like the embeddings model, DALI models, and Codex models if you are interested in coding. So that's a short gist. We'll quickly move ahead to the slides, other content that we have. And the first part of our demo today walks you through what custom vision service is and how to get started. So over to you, Erica, now.
Yes. So let's start with custom vision. Now, what is custom vision? So it's a service offered to you by Azure AI, and the main purpose here is it's an image recognition service. So you can build, deploy, and improve your image identifier models. You can add labels to them as required, and those labels will work as classification of objects. So how it helps you is it helps you recognize images belonging to a particular category or a particular label. Now moving ahead. Okay. So something we need to understand first is there are many ways in which custom vision or categorization happens. So, Rohit, can you have this whole slide up?
Yeah.
Yes. So majorly, these are the 5 categories that we have there, and I will use a very short example for all categories so that it's better understood. Now, what is classification? Let's say I give you a collection of images and you have to determine whether it's a cat or a dog. So how you'll do it is you can train a model using the labeled images, and what your model does is it learns to distinguish between the two classes based on the labels. So when a new image is provided, the model can predict whether it's a cat or a dog. This process is known as classification. Now the next one here, which is regression. So let's say you want to buy a house and you want to predict the price of a house based on its photos. So what you can do in those scenario, let's say you make a model using images of houses along with the corresponding prices. That enables you to develop a relationship between visual features and the price. So what happens is when you give the model a new house image, it will be able to predict its price based on the relationship mapping. Now moving ahead, there's reinforcement learning. So okay, let's say you're in a simulation and you want to train a simulated car to navigate through a city. So what you can do actually, you can, like the car, it can receive a visual input from the environment. So your car is the agent here and the whole simulation is your environment. Now, based on that simulation, it can accept actions to whether like turn or accelerate or further things and receive rewards or penalties based on its performance. So when you keep training your model in a way like that, over time what happens is the car learns to drive in that simulation. So what happens is it reduces fault tests and maximizing the rewards of having such a feature. Then we have anomaly detection. So anomaly would be like distinguishing anything that's different, not weird specifically, but that's different. Let's say you have a lot of images of manufactured products. Now you need to train a model that will learn to distinguish whether the product is normal or whether it has a defect. So what happens is if it has a defect, the model deviates from its normal indication and thus it indicates that we have a defect. Then the last category is clustering. So clustering, as by the image you can understand, what we do is we organize a collection of similar things. So let's say we take a collection of flower images into groups. Then we can use our ML algorithms to analyze these pictures and group them into clusters. Let's say, since I said flowers, let's say if you take a lot of flower images, then it can cluster it based on the type of flower. It could be rose, tulip, lotus, and thus the same ones, the same images get grouped together. So these are majorly the types and ways we have here. Moving ahead. Yes. So it's all enabled by machine learning. And how is it enabled? We'll cover to that as well. Next slide. Yes. So the whole thing is you put computer science and mathematics together and it creates a very complex but a very easily efficient architecture for us. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about multiple subcategories to it. Like you can see in the image, it's ML, neural networks, deep learning, and all of this comes with statistics because your stats are the one which will show how good or how efficiently your model is working. So, like I said, ML is a subset of AI. And how it works is you build your models, you train your models from scratch, or you can use pre trained models with images or other input informations. And with the statistics, you compute a number which tells you how efficiently your model will be able to perform. Rohit, do you want to add something to it, or should we move ahead?
No, I think we are good here. So
Yeah,
we all know that all of these are like umbrella terms, and all of
fine.
these are techniques within one another. So that's the relationship that has been shown here. Overall, we have artificial intelligence, which has machine learning as a subset, followed by neural network as a subset of machine learning, and then we have deep learning. So the services that we are covering today are falling in like multiple areas within this
Right.
whole diagram. So that's all.
Okay, then let's go to the next slide.
Sure.
Yes. So today we will talk about classification. So remember how I said like we'll be able to differentiate, like our model will be able to differentiate between what species of animal it is. So we have a project on it and I'll quickly go with how to enable that project for you. Can we go to the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a very easy three-step model that we are going to do here. Firstly, we will upload and label our images. Okay. Then we will train the model so that the image and labels are co-configured to have the relationship established. Once the model is trained, it will be able to detect and give us the correct result. Next slide. These things will become more clear as we progress in the demo. Okay, creating
Yes.
a custom vision model. Fine. So I will share my screen.
Sure.
Mm, is my screen visible?
Um, Not yet. I think I'll have to stop sharing my screen.
Okay.
Yes. Now your screen is clear.
Awesome. So the first thing we do is we go to the Azure portal, portal.azure. And now to enable or to start with any service, you will first need a resource group. So what we go do is we go to create a resource. Now, okay, there's a lot of disturbance. Yeah, okay. It's better now. So what we do first is we start with creating a resource because the resource is the entity which you will use for managing whatever service you tend to build. Now, once you go to create a resource, let's search for custom vision because that is what you want to do here. Here it is. And the marketplace is loading for us. And here we go. Here's custom vision. Now we go to create because we're creating a new resource. We're going to go create custom vision. And I will wait for it to load. Yes. Okay. Now, our model, we want it to be a prediction and training model. So it's by default on both. We let it be there. You can choose a subscription that works well for you. You can choose a resource group or create a new resource group. Since I've already created this model, I'm not creating a new one, but feel free to do so. Region, it's recommended you choose a region that's nearest to you. So let's proceed with that. And name could be anything you like. A good name. Yeah, a good name, not some gibberish like this, but a good name. You can go with the free pricing tier and all, and then you can click on review plus create. So what it will do is, once you have reviewed and created, you should get a model listed like this. So this is your resource group that's ready here. So let's see. Since it's in Central India, we'll see this one first. Yeah. So it's active, it's in Central India, it has an ID, a subscription and all of that. And as you can see here, it's custom vision training. Okay, so the first step is accomplished here. We have created the resource group. Now coming to the second step, we need a model and we need to train the model. So we will go to the next portal, which is customvision.ai. You can simply search Azure AI Custom Vision and you'll land here. So I have already created this model, but I'll show you how to create a new one. So we'll go to new project. Now here, let's say we enter a name. So let's say I enter animal classification. And you can add a project description. Let's say I'm gonna add like different animals like cat, dog, no, lion would be that. Cat, dog, giraffe. So any animals. Now here the resource group needs to match. Wait, this. Yeah. So make sure you choose the correct resource group there. Then moving forward, since it's going to be a classification where we classify animals based on labels, I've selected that. And it's single tag per image. You can do multiple tags also. Let's say you want to create a subcategory. Let's say there's cat and there's lion, and then you're going to be like domestic and wild. So for that, you can have multiple tags per image as well. But for an easier demo, for your understanding, we'll go with single tag per image. And I'll just create a general one and then I'll share. Wait. Then we'll create on create project. So it will take a bit of time, let's say a few minutes, and then it will create the project for you. Let me open the one that I've already created. Okay, so now here I have already added the images, but if you create a new one, it will come as all empty to you. And then you can choose your images. You can click on add images and it will open a list of wherever folder you want to direct it to, and you can click and add that image here. Now, okay, I'll give you one very small example. Let's say I click on this dog. Yes, so when you want to add this image, you'll have to add a tag. So I have already created these tags here: dog, elephant, giraffe, kangaroos, and I will give it a tag dog. And then I'll click on upload. So it will start uploading it. Now see, since this image was already present, it threw me an error that this image was a duplicate. So I'll click on done here and stop this process for now. But you can add new images and they will get added here. Now let me explain this particular area to you. So you know how when you want to shop from Amazon or Myntra, you select filters and categories. So these are the categories we have. These are the different animals. If I click on elephant, all images of elephants that I have uploaded to train this model will pop up here. Similarly, we have zebra, or we can select two, zebra and lion. So like that, you will be able to segregate and label your images. Okay, so this is the first step done here, which is we are adding our training images, and then you click on train to train the model. Now since this is already trained, I will not do this again because it takes around 20 to 30 minutes. So you can select on quick training and train it. Once your model training is complete, you can go to performance. And okay, this came out to be a very nice model because, well, I think we have less images here. So we have a good rate of precision recall and AP here, which is good for us. It shows that our model is able to like work properly and establish proper results. And there's okay, so predictions we will not cover right now, but yeah, you can go for a quick test. So what happens in quick test is you can test your model whether it's working properly or not. Let's say I browse through my local files and I give it an image. Let's say I give it this image. Okay. So now you see it was able to identify that it thinks 99% it's a wolf while it thinks 0% that it's a zebra. So thus you have a good image training model for animal categorization or classification as we called it. And this is majorly how the custom vision will work for you. So let me go back to the slides. Rohit, do you want to share your screen again?
Yeah, sure. Just give me 1 second. Yes, please let me know if my screen is loaded.
It's loading.
Is it there?
Yes, yes, it's loading. Let's move to the next slide.
Awesome.
Awesome. So, like I said, that no model is perfect because there's unlimited data. Right now, we barely use 50 of our images, but if you have a data set that goes to 50 billion, then you have to train it better. So something you have to understand is your data set will define how properly your model works. So it might not always know any random images provided to it, but if your data set contains the right things, the right labels, it will be able to figure it out. Like right now we did for animals, if I would have added a picture of a pigeon there, it wouldn't have been able to recall it. So make sure your data set is properly trained with proper images of the domain you want to present it to. And yes, so normally a score of 80% and above is considered good, because when the data set increases, the accuracy gets affected by a bit. And well, yeah, the best way to cover it is to provide like a lot of images, a lot of different angles. Let's say it's not just the face, provide a full body of the animal you're training from left, right, backside, and all, so that the model is able to understand and label it properly. Next slide. Yes, so we have already covered the demo, and if there are any questions or such, please feel free to reach out. We can move ahead.
Yes. So
Yes.
yeah, I think we move on to the next part of this session today. So we are on to the second part, which is about Azure OpenAI Service and Air Service. So we will quickly walk you through the breadth of services that are available in Azure AI services, and post that we will walk you through two of these services, which is Azure OpenAI Service and AI Search. So awesome. So when we speak about Azure AI, we have a whole lot of services, and these cover through like multiple cloud domains. Like if you know about IaaS, PaaS, PaaS, and SaaS services, we have Azure AI that covers all of these three categories. So let's start with infrastructure as a service. First of all, so let's say you want access to like raw power, so you need access to these hefty GPUs to train your models. We have those available. So if I quickly bring up my laser, so we have Azure AI infrastructure available where you can quickly deploy virtual machines equipped with like uh, hefty CPU and GPU cores so that you can do all the training. That's one option you have. Let's say if you want to try out a bit of platform where you have some control but you also get some flexibility, you can go on to Azure Machine Learning. Now Azure Machine Learning is a service where you can build models. You can do a lot more. You can experiment with your models, or you can experiment with other models. There's a huge model catalog that is available over there. And we have LLMs. If I specifically talk about LLMs, we have LLMs over there ranging from Microsoft to these Meta models from Mistral, Llama, and obviously OpenAI. So we have a whole range of models that you can play with over there. And when we speak about like simple services, we have Azure AI services available here. So these used to be called before as cognitive services, but these have been rebranded to as Azure AI services now. And these cover a whole range of scenarios that you can think of. So whether you need to work with documents or you need to work with videos, images, and whole more. We have services that cover most of these scenarios in five main categories, which are vision, speech, language decision, and Azure OpenAI service. So Advita has already walked you through the vision set, where she talked about custom vision service and gave you a complete demo of it. Now we will go ahead to Azure OpenAI service. So we have Azure OpenAI service, which is targeted towards four main scenarios. You might have used ChatGPT already, so you know all of these four things are possible with Azure OpenAI service. So you can generate new content. You can ask it to summarize existing content, give you a brief overview or summarization type of output if you want. You can ask it to generate images, you can ask it to do code generation, review your code, and obviously semantic search to give you more personalized answers. So this is a bit about Azure OpenAI service. So you get access to all of these models from OpenAI. So we speak about GPT-3, GPT 3.5 Turbo. You get access to GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, and the very recent model, which is GPT-4o. You get access to Codex model, so you can use it for generating code or reviewing your code if that is what you want. If you are interested in image generation, you can get access to the DALL-E models. Obviously, you have access to ChatGPT API, so you can build completely chat-based apps, and there is a whole lot more. So, what's the distinguishing factor here? Why choose Azure OpenAI service over OpenAI, simple OpenAI service? So there's a reason for it, and that's covered in this number one point. So Azure OpenAI service is deployed within your own Azure subscription, and it is only available inside the tenant boundary. These models are targeted for enterprise scenarios as well as for your personal projects and everything. And we have very high grade role based access controls. So you can be completely sure that your data is never leaving your boundary, tenant boundary, or is never being used to train models at any cost. So you can deploy these services with like complete peace of mind, and you get access to whole lot range of catalog of models over here. And when we also speak about semantic search, we have one more service, which is Azure Cognitive Search or AI Search. So this service is used for vector search. It is used to create a vector index. Simply put, it's like a database that is more faster than your traditional databases, and it can contain a vector index of many types of data. So you can talk about simple plain data. It can be images, videos, graphs, documents, and whole lot more. So you can use it to create embeddings, and these embeddings are supplied to these LLMs. Like in our case, it will be supplied to our OpenAI model, so that it can give more personalized answers to you. And with that, your model becomes much personalized and more context aware to your own scenario. So with that, we will quickly walk you through a demo. So both me and Arpita have created the demo, and we will quickly walk you through it. Um, yeah. So this is what the Azure OpenAI service looks like. Currently, I'm in Azure OpenAI Studio, and over here you get a complete UI. You get a whole chat, playground, and other service using which you can customize your model. You can give it access to more data. You can do a complete test chart here. Like if I show you, I'll just type in a simple hello, and I'll get the response back. So as usual, currently I am testing the GPT 3.5 Turbo model here. But if you want, you can configure it with GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, or GPT-4, whichever model you like. So this is a short gist about Azure OpenAI Studio. If you are interested in it, simply go to Azure Portal, the demo that Arpita gave you, and you have to provision Azure OpenAI service, and you get access to this whole OpenAI Studio. Next up, we will walk you through our demo app. So we created a simple demo app. This is a whole like ChatGPT interface if you're familiar with it, but there is a difference here. first I'll walk you through the project. So we deployed a project here. It's a simple chat app, but the difference here is that it's personalized with our own data. So take an example. We have given it access to some enterprise documents. Think about like maybe employee benefits that you get, and imagine that this is a chatbot that you can ask for. You can ask questions for like um, different queries that you may have in regards to your employee benefits and other benefits. So you can see we have three different questions here that are already populated. So let's go ahead with the performance review. So again, this is a targeted scenario. If I route this query through like normal OpenAI service, we will not get like much of a personalized response. But what happens here is when we have augmented it with our own documents, you will get like a more personalized answer for a particular organization. It can be covered for a particular organization or for like a more specific use case. Let's say you are building a personal project and you want to give it to your own data. So I think this data was not provided, but no worries. We will go ahead with insurance plan. So uh, again, health plans are a standard benefit that are covered in employee benefits, and let's see if we get a personalized answer for it. So as you can see, the model is working behind the scenes. You get access to a generating answer response, but we will get the response very quickly. Okay, so it seems our data is not working right now. But if you ask it like a general question, like what happens in a performance review, you will get an answer for it. So same way, it's personalized and it's like uniquely customized to your own responses. It's a simple app that you can create on your own. The Even the code is available on GitHub. So if you are interested in deploying it, you can go ahead and quickly deploy it and test it on your own data. So this is what you achieve with this whole set of Azure AI services here. You can customize it with your own data. You can get personalized responses. And if you want to test the chatbot, you obviously have access to Azure OpenAI Studio here. And this is a place where you can test your own models. You can further augment it with your own data, and you can create templates. You can create it with a whole developer centric scenario. So you can include system messages. You can customize the system messages that is generally not available in the uh, ChatGPT web UI if you know about it. But here you can customize your system message. You can do a whole lot more with prompts and everything. You also get access to completion endpoint. So if you know about it, if you have played before with OpenAI API, you know about completions API that allows you to pre-configure everything and simply get a completion safety endpoint that simply you can throw questions at. So you can get access to the same thing over here. If I walk you through Dali Playground, right now I haven't deployed it in a supported region, but if you had this been deployed there, it would have given you an interface, so you can quickly fine tune it with your own data, with your own prompts. You can blacklist certain prompts. Let's say if you don't want certain type of images to be generated, you can simply block them from here. And there is a very interesting part here, which is about the assistance playground. Right now, it's also not available here. The service is rolling out very quickly, but for now, if I quickly walk you through Assistance API, what it allows you to do is you can create like whole chatbots that can automate tasks, and it can do a whole lot more than like simple chat with ChatGPT API or with OpenAI API. So that's what you can do from it. And if I speak about augmenting it, as you can see, I have created two deployments here. So we have a GPT 3.5 turbo model, we have a GPT 4 model here. If I take you through the models, we have a whole catalog of models available here. So if you see in this list that has appeared, we have two additional models that you can see. We have the Whisper model, first of all, which is used for text to speech scenarios. We have an embeddance model, and we have the very recent model available over here, which is GPT-4o. So you can quickly get access to all the recent new models as soon as they appear, and you can quickly start using it inside your own apps. Next up, let's say if you want to augment it with your own data, you can simply upload a new data set here, and you can fine tune your models with it. So we have two different categories available to personalize your chatbots. So you can either upload a new data set, or you can go through the AI search route that we have gone. So you can simply upload a new data set, and you can fine tune your model. And again, uh, a very specific scenario that I want to walk you through is through content filters, but I'll also cover quotas very quickly. So quotas allow you to um, provision like certain quotas. There are quotas on these limit. Simply put, there are some limits as to how much you can use these services in a particular given time. So you can customize that limits from here. And lastly, I wanted to walk you through content filter. So content filter allows you to create custom filters. So let's say if you want to restrict certain responses, let's say you don't want your chatbot to maybe generate some malicious responses, or people have a habit of jailbreaking these LLMs where they will prompt your LLMs to create responses that you don't want. So you can think of multiple scenarios in there. So you can create custom filters here, and what you can do is there is a threshold here. So let's say if your model uh, is asked something, it can simply block that. So we have different categories. You can block hate-based responses, maybe responses that target scenarios like self-harm, violence. So you get all of these categories over here. You can simply um, allow set a threshold like how much you want them to be blocked, these responses, like you want some certain type of responses to be allowed, or completely all filters, all of them to be filtered out. So you have complete authority over here, and this is what actually sets it apart from the OpenAI API. Generally there you have to use other tools in addition to the main model, like LangChain, for example, if you want to check it out. But here you have everything built right in. So that's a very quick tour of Azure OpenAI service, and I hope we hope you got an overview of how to work with Azure OpenAI service. It's very easy. You simply need to the uh, walk through the Azure portal and deploy a new service. That's how easy it is. And if you search for Azure AI in the portal, you will get access to these whole set of services that you can see over here. So you can use any service that you want. So with that, I have come to an end of my demo. But in overall, me and Arpita both have walked you through two different demos. The first one being Azure Custom Vision, and the second one being Azure OpenAI Service along with AI Search. So these are two services, and in wholeness, we have walked you through two scenarios where if you have like experience, you are welcome. If you don't have experience, even you are welcome. There is a service that's for everyone over here. So that's how easy it is to get started with Azure AI. And with that, we have come to an end of our session. So, any closing remarks, Arpita?
Yeah, thank you for watching this. And like I said, if there are any further questions or discussions, we can take it up on our socials.